Hello, everybody. Welcome, Team Zoom members. It's good to be back after our last call. Now we are talking about our new partner, about Form swim goggles and what they can do for you and help you to get better in swimming. Let me see who's dialing in today. Okay, we are live. That's great. I think without any further ado, I would just dive into the meeting with Riley. She's joining us from Formsw, and we are going to talk through the products, and maybe there will be some time afterwards to raise some questions for you. But without further ado, hi, Riley.
Hi, how's it going? Nice to see you too.
It's amazing that you have time for us and made it possible that we can talk to you this day. That's great. Thank you.
Of course, I'm so happy to be here. Excited to chat with you.
Yeah, you've been a partner for Team Zoot USA for already some time, and we're happy to extend the partnership to Team Zoot Europe because we like to say that we see ourselves as one Ohana, as one family, one group, regardless of borders or whatever. So it's great to see that is also the case, not only for the members and meetings and gatherings, but also for our partners, and that you are able to extend the partnership and service members in Europe as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We love Team Zoot US. We've had a really great relationship with them, and so we're really excited to be able to extend that to you all as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. You're based in Canada, or where are you right now?
Yeah, in Vancouver. So it's my work day is just starting. It's 9 a.m. this morning, and I know your day is probably just coming to a close. I was at the pool this morning, so don't mind the wet hair, and then just roll into the office. Yeah.
No worries. That's more than fine, and it makes it more credible that you've been for a swim session this morning. I can totally see that it's way much more engaging, or like more professional and efficient, if you go swimming with goggles you have. Because I've been looking at your page quite frequently and quite often, and it looks like it's the perfect tool to just get a perfect swim session in.
Yeah, it's interesting. Before I worked at Form, I swam, but pretty recreationally. I've always been a runner. I run marathons is my usual thing. And I just kind of found it like it was a thing I did when I was injured. Or if, there was like literally nothing else I could do. It was never something that really brought a lot of joy or excitement to me. And since I've started swimming with the goggles, having the metrics like right in your eyes and workouts that are built for you, it makes it a way more engaging experience for me, at least. I know there are people that grew up swimming that are like, I could just dive in and swim forever, and they love it, but that's a little different than me. So it's made it a lot more interesting and engaging experience for sure.
Yeah, right. I can totally see what you are describing, and basically I share the same perspective because I mainly run too, and dial in swim sessions whenever I can swim or have an injury or just like shouldn't do a run that day. I try to dial in a swim session, and I'm the same, that I am looking always for some guidance. I need a structure for my swim program. Otherwise, I would just end up swimming like as long as I want without any specific plan or goal, and having like a clear advice on what I need to do and to achieve that day really helps for a good swim session.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that for folks that didn't necessarily either that don't have if you do have a coach, we can talk more about building workouts later. But if you didn't necessarily grow up swimming or you don't have a coach, like having that structured workout, going to the pool makes a world of difference. Because I'm the same way. I would go when I do 40 laps, I'd swim a kilometer and that would be it. Like I was like, I don't know how to build a workout for myself. I don't know what things that I need to work on to improve. So yeah, having that structure is a game changer for me, at least.
So I would like to just show your introduction video that you have on your homepage to like give everybody a broader sense of what's going on here, and who has not been yet spending so much time with your goals and the service you offer. So let me try to get in the stream of my browser. Just 1 second. Here we go. Window. That's the one. Okay, here we go. So I hope you were able to hear this with sound, because I find it quite impressive to see that demo video, because I've never swum with a heads-up display, and would like to know from you, how is it? What metrics, can you choose the metrics you're getting during this session, or is it distracting? Is it too visual, or how does it work? You just set up your app. Talk us through one of your, basically through your swim session you had this morning. Do you set up something on your phone? How does it work?
Yeah, so we have an app that pairs with the goggles, and you can choose. So before you go for your first swim, you can dive into the app and really play around in there and sort of see what things you want to have in your heads-up display when you're swimming. So it automatically comes with default settings, which shows you your time, your distance, and your lap pace, and that's already in there. So you don't need to set any of that up. But for example, me, I'm trying to lower my stroke count. We have a coach that we work with here at Form. Her name's Annie. She's awesome. And that was one of the pieces of feedback she gave me to work on. So one of the metrics that we can look at is stroke count. So every time I touch the wall, I see what my stroke count for that 25 or 50 meters is. And then I'm trying to lower it on my next interval. So that's a metric I like to use. We've got calories in there. We have different things that you can like turn on and off. So Lionel Sanders is one of the athletes that we work with, and he's awesome. I'm sure everybody on this call knows who he is. He needs no introduction. But he actually sometimes he only wants to see his metrics when he's finished his set. He doesn't want to see at the turn. So he's actually, for some of his swims, he turns that off. So you have that ability as well. You can really adjust it to exactly what you need. Maybe you're like, I only want to see this data every 100 meters. I only want to see this data, or I want to see it I want to see it constantly. So there's a lot of different options there. So there's 3 different screens that you can adjust your metrics for. There's the swimming screen, which obviously while you're swimming, it's what you're seeing. And then there's the turn screen. So as you touch the wall or as you do a flip turn, it'll give you information. And this is a pool we're talking about. Well, we can talk about open water after, if you want. And then there's the rest screen. So when you're rating at the wall, you can get some data there, and you can customize that to see exactly what you want to see. So my swim this morning, I downloaded a workout in the app. It's super easy. My app this is like not the best thing to be happening while we're on a call, but it is taking a sweet time loading this morning, so I can't show you. But there is there's a library of over 1,000 workouts in there, and those were designed by some really, really great coaches who coach Olympians and other really high level athletes. And so they've built a library of workouts for us. And so I went into the library, I chose a workout. Mine was 2,000 meters. So I downloaded that. What's cool with all of our workouts too, is there's always a small, medium, large, and extra large workout. So it's the same, basically, like bones of the workout, just obviously things will be extended. So for any workout, if you're like, oh, I really like the look of this, but I would like to do it a little bit shorter, then there's always a shorter or sort of bigger option for it. So I downloaded my workout, it goes into my goggles, and then I get the information into my goggles as I swim. So I had 200 meters of freestyle, easy to warm up. I had 4x50 choice. So I was doing some backstroke with fins. And then I was doing some sets with different equipment. So I had some pull boy sets, some kickboard sets, and some other stuff with fins. And it's incredible, because I wouldn't be able to build, I would have no idea how to do that for myself.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But do you need to take your GPS watch with you, your sports watch, or it's not necessary because everything is tracked by the goggles, right?
So I've got my goggles with me. So this little thing on the side is a computer. And it's got 3 key things in it. So it's got a magnetometer, a gyroscope, and accelerometer.
Oh,
and
I see this all works.
Yeah, so that's going to calculate your distance. So when you start, I wonder if I can show you how it'll work.
You don't need.
But when you start, you put in the length of your pool. So 25 meters in yards and 50 meters in yards automatically show up. Or if you're doing a longer swim, we have a pool here in Vancouver. It's 117 meters. It's right on the ocean. It's a long pool.
That's what you need.
But so you can put in a custom length, and then these things they calculate that for you, and then obviously they're able to identify. We have a really smart machine learning team here who they're the ones who sort of formulated this. And so the computer knows what stroke you're doing, when you're resting versus when you're stopping. It's actually, they've done some work really recently, which it actually knows, like if you're putting equipment on, it can identify the movements as like not swimming, but not being in rest. So it's like, it's kind of mind blowing to me. But yeah, you don't need to wear a watch. This calculates everything.
Yeah, I would like to talk about this a bit more. You said
Yeah.
there's like an algorithm behind it, and like the system recognizes what you do and like within the training. But I assume that's the case. But you can maybe talk me through this and explain it a bit more.
Yeah.
Is the system also recognizing your style and your sessions from session to session? So is there like a comparison over time? Is it like seeing, okay, you're building up from the S packages or S workouts to like M? What's going on this side, like to make progression visible?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I really wish my app was working right now so I could show you in there. But for any swim, you can go in and there's some sort of immediate data that it gives you. So it'll tell you what your overall pace was, your distance, your time. So some sort of like basic metrics. And then you can click in and you get some really, really detailed information. So it gives you, based on every stroke you do, there's different data that you can get from there. So it really depends on how sort of analytical you are and how interested in that you are, and people that are super analytical, there's a lot of information they can play with there. So that would be where you're going in to look to really see how you're improving over time. With the algorithms and stuff that we're working on, we're constantly iterating the products, which is really fun. And I've been with Form for about a year, and even in the last year, seeing how things have changed has been really exciting. But we've tested out some different things with, let's say, the way your head is in the water. So it can identify if your pitch, how your head pitch looks, and if that needs to be adjusted at all, or different like length of stroke things. So there's some really interesting stuff that we're working on and can play with there, and definitely, seeing improvement over time.
And that's super interesting, because I think this hits like growing demand for more data or more like knowledge about our trainings.
Yeah.
Companies like Whoop or other brands are also like accelerating and are gaining market share, because there is this need for figuring out how I'm able to get better, or what do I need to improve, because all these fields where I'm not good at are basically fields where I can improve and swim faster. And if the product you are offering is not only the product itself, but also the service behind it. And I think this is a crucial point. It's not only the goggles, it's also the service and the data behind it that you use and make sense out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's I was watching some interviews with Olaf Boo, who coaches Gustav Iden, who just won a Kona, and Christian Blumenfeld, who just won. I mean, he's won a million things, but most recently the 750 World Championships. And he was talking about historically how we gather swim data has been so kind of based on feeling. It's how the athlete feels or how the coach feels. And by the time you're sort of sharing those feelings, it's almost too late because you finished your set, right? So you like do your interval and you're like, oh, that was really hard, or that felt too easy, but it's like really, really feeling based. Whereas now you have these numbers, and these numbers you can't dispute. So you may feel like it's easy, and then we're looking at the data. We have you can buy a heart rate monitor that attaches on as well. So things like your heart rate. It's like, well, we can actually see that you're only in zone 3, so it's not maybe as hard as you thought it was, and that really hasn't existed before. So that's really exciting. Sorry, I went on a bit of a tangent. I think you asked another question.
No worries. That's perfectly fine. I think what you've just said is in particular particular interest of our athletes and Team Zoop members and triathletes maybe in general, because loads of triathletes tend to have online coaches or online coach services like a Duku Coach or whatever platform there is, and it's hard to like improve if you don't have a coach standing next to you by the pool. And I mean, also the pool, the coach can be wrong, as you've said. It's loads of like suggestions went by gut feeling, and now you have the data and also are able to communicate this with your online coach or friends who are not around you. So this is, I think, an ideal tool for triathletes who train on their own and don't have somebody to watch on their swim technique.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so too. And something just while we're talking about coaches that's really cool is so we had created this workout library and it's great, but feedback that we kept hearing from members of our community, especially triathletes, is like, I have a coach. I don't need this library of workouts because I have a coach that gives me workouts. And so there was this big request for a workout builder. So we built one and it launched in the summer. And so you can, any of those workouts that we've already created, you can edit them with the workout builder, or you can sort of net new create workouts. So if your coach gives you a workout, you can build it, and then you still get that same experience of being guided through the workout and seeing everything in the heads up display versus memorizing it or writing it down on a piece of paper. And then we don't currently, like, we can't pull from Training Peaks, but we do send back to Training Peaks and other sort of coaching platforms. So then your coach can see the workout that they built for you, that then you swam, and then they can see all your specific data around it and give you really sort of like tangible feedback on that, which is, again, really cool, because previously it would have, like, even me, as I work with a running coach, and she'll ask me how my workout went, and sometimes I'll be like, oh, like, good, like it felt good, or it felt like, and it's like, that doesn't really do anything, it's like you need those numbers. So
totally you need. And I think that you mentioned that it's automatically played into Training Peaks, and that's a really nice feature, because if tools like the Form goggles are getting too complicated, it's hard to incorporate into your daily life. You need it to be as simple as possible and like as convenient as possible. Otherwise, people would stop using it. And if you have a tool which automatically uploads your data and your program to your coach, it's like a no-brainer, because it doesn't take any effort to communicate the data.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think the easier we can make these things, the better, right? Like, if you have to, if you have to go in and really specifically look at things and then cut that out and send it off to your coach, like, that's just, it's a lot of work, and people are busy, So I think the easier that we can make it, the better.
Yeah, right. You mentioned you could extend the goggles by heart rate monitor, right? What is this? You showed it for a split second. You have it there. What is it?
Yeah, so it's we work with Polar. So it's a Polar OH1 is what it's called. And we'll see if I can pop it out here. It is, so basically it just goes like right up against your temple. There's a little clip that goes against the side of your goggles here. And then it gives you all your heart rate data. So you can, that's an option when you have this, that you can see in your swim, but then you also have the data after. So it just looks like this. It's on right now, which is why it's bright green, but it's pretty flat. So it doesn't, like, I don't find it's very disruptive. And we've done a lot of testing, and the accuracy right against your temple is considerably better than the wrist. So from a getting a heart rate accurate reading is really good, which is great. And it was really fun. I was at an event in Texas, the PTO US Open that was in Texas. I was there, and we had a Form user actually from Team Zoot US, and he did his swim in the triathlon with his goggles, and he had done a 16-week training plan. He was feeling really good going into it. He really knew sort of the numbers that he wanted to be at. And when he jumped into the water and first started swimming, he could see his heart rate, and he was like, my heart rate's way too high. I'm going out way too fast. And he was able to slow down. And then he had a really, really awesome swim versus like going out and burning out, which he said is something that he had done previously a lot before, because you're so excited and the adrenaline is going, right? And you're not even like, you might not even be aware that you're going out way harder than you should be. Which again is data that you've had on a watch when you're running, you have on a bike computer when you're cycling, and up until now you really haven't had for the swim. So yeah, it's cool. It's exciting.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, you are always left out there when you are entering the first discipline, going out for the swim session, and just need to listen to your gut feeling. And if you are like in a stress situation, let's call it race day, it's hard to just rely on your gut feeling. So this gives you like more reasons to, or like metrics to trust on.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would like to show our members how members can get the products, how to shop them on your homepage, and how shipping works, and the discount and that kind of stuff. So let me go back to our platform. And for us, it's really important to emphasize that the discount code we are sharing with our members is exclusive for members. If they enter our page and go to the partner section and go to Formsw, it's a password protected page. which our members can open with the password we have communicated before. I'm not going to share it right now because this is a public live stream, so everybody could watch it. So we're going to share this password through our emails and WhatsApp channels. And if you go online, you can just access here the details for Form and open the Formsw page and can go through I know you, I think, need to guide me. I think if
if you go to shop now, you got it. We just redid the page yesterday. So there's looks a little new. So then if you say add to cart, and right now it is in USD, which I don't know if you want to change that over to the UK. Otherwise, it'll just show UK or USD pricing. Mine does that sometimes too. I'm not sure why. So yeah, if you go back to shop now, and it should come up at 240 euros, I believe. Yeah. Okay. Yep. So then add to cart. And then if you go,
I think this is an interesting point. It adds. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, but you were most likely to say it. It is, you get the physical goggles and you get a subscription to the membership. And I think this reverts back to what I've said a bit earlier. It's not like you're only producing the smart goggles, but you're also offering this membership service where you can get access to all the knowledge and the data and the training program. This is it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So with that 240, and then obviously you'll get the discount on top of that. So you get the physical goggles, and then you get this app, which then provides all these really cool things. So that library of over 1,000 workouts, the custom workout builder feature, and we have plans. So triathlon plans that there's from everything from like a sprint to a full iron distance triathlon, as well as really skill-based things. And also like there's new features coming out all the time. So you get that. And then plus just the sort of classic activity tracking, which I don't know if I really talked about, but basically it's like you press the start button on your goggles, you swim, and it just tracks everything. So it's still gonna, it's gonna track all your information, but you're not following any plan. And I like to do that sometimes when I'm just like, I just want to go and swim, and I don't want to have to, I don't want to have to follow anything. I want to just swim for as long as I feel like it. And so that's for the first year, that $240. And then so that's membership for the year and the goggles for the year. And then after the year, you have a choice. So you can continue to pay for the membership, which then works out to being 16 euros a month. And you continue to have access to all of those things. Or if you're like, I actually, maybe I grew up swimming and I know what I want to do and I don't need access to these things, then you'll always have access to those activity tracking features, and you'll always have access to swimming in open water, where you get the data when you swim in open water, but you won't have access to the membership. You won't have access to the plans and the workout and the custom workout builder, but you'll still always retain those features.
Yeah, right. But that's very nice to know that you can decide on your own if you want to continue, and you don't need to like extend the membership to use the goggles. So you can still rely on the basic features and continue using them after the 1-year membership.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think it depends on the person, right? Like for me, I'm like, I really get value out of the membership, but there are people that might not. So, and we're aware of that, and we're cool with that.
Yeah, right. We like to emphasize that Team Zoot is not only for Ironman athletes, but also for like entry triathletes, people who are just about to start the sport and are like not professional in swimming at all. Are there any programs and like any advice for beginners?
Yeah, absolutely.
In the workout builder or in the app program?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have within our workout library, we have a collection that is really targeted to beginner swimmers. And those are really much shorter workouts. We also have programs that are really based on fundamentals. So improving your kick, learning how to breathe properly. And what's so great about, working at this office here is so many of the folks that work here, some of them are not swimmers. Some have never swam before. So we get to test out the goggles and working with some of those folks who are in that exact sort of new stage, which I think would probably be a little different. I'm sure most of the people here would know how to swim, but it really has given us sort of a lot of context into what it would be like for a person that maybe is not super comfortable in the water, and sort of creating stuff for them. So yes, definitely plans targeted towards newer swimmers or first-time triathletes, and lots of workouts that are really built around sort of more fundamentals, learning. And we also have in the app, we have videos that teach you how to do certain things. So anytime there's a drill, there's an option to watch a video that teaches you how to do the drill, modifications to make it easier or harder. And I think that's something too, is just like everything is really customizable. Like for me this morning, I like threw fins on at times when I didn't need to, because I was like, well, I actually just feel like, this thing is going to make it a little bit of a more enjoyable experience for me. And so you can do that with any of the workouts. And even if the workout tells you, let's say, to do freestyle, and I decide I'm going to do backstroke, it knows that you do that. So it still will calculate all of that.
But you don't need to take your phone to the pool, right? It's like optional to watch the videos. I mean, obviously you can if you have a waterproof phone and can take it to the pool, but you can leave your phone in the locker room and just don't need to take it at all, right?
Yeah, really the only thing for the phone is if you choose to do a workout, and you can store up to 5 workouts on your goggles at all times. So if you load a bunch on, you don't really need to have your phone in any capacity. But yeah, you can sync the goggles before you go. It takes about 2 seconds. It's really easy. Your goggles just need to be, I've done it when I'm in my very small apartment and from, different rooms, and that works. So you can't do it if maybe if you leave your goggles in the car and you're in your house or something like that. It needs to be sort of close. But yeah, once you've synced the workouts, there's really no need to have your phone at all.
That's amazing. And I think it's based on Bluetooth technology, so it needs to be in reach because the technology is just meant for like short distance connections, and the battery will be sufficient to get you through at least I would guess a week of workouts. Or
honestly, I think so. The battery life is about 16 hours. So we did actually, someone reached out to us. He had done a big open water swim, and his goggles lasted. He consistently swam. So just under 16 hours is how long the goggles lasted for. And I was chatting with some people to try and figure out, why they had lasted that length of time. And in the open water, oftentimes people turn their brightness up really high. And that would be something. So there is that. There's like different things, obviously, you can do in the goggles. You can wear them on both sides. You can adjust the brightness. But typically swimming in a pool, like swimming a couple times a week, they should last. I charge mine maybe once a month, and I usually swim about 3 times a week. And also, if you're like at 1% battery, if you charge them for a few minutes, you usually have enough juice to then get through your swim.
I see.
So,
yeah. This is just another argument for the technology being so convenient that you don't need to worry about it. It makes it easy to use.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, if these things are hard and complicated to use, I am like not a techie person, so I probably wouldn't. So yeah, the easier the better for sure.
That's great to hear. So I think we don't have any questions coming in this time. If you don't want to say something else, we are really grateful that you extended partnership to Europe. And this brings up my last question. How does shipping to Europe work? You're shipping from Canada, or where do you ship from?
Yeah, so we have a couple, we try to be as sustainable as possible with our shipping. So we actually do have a warehouse in the UK, or sorry, not in the UK, in Europe. So we are able to ship from Europe, which then reduces the carbon emissions there. So shipping is complimentary, and as long, I think there is a nominal fee if you're shipping to like a post box. But otherwise, yeah, shipping is free, and it usually takes about 2 days.
That's amazing. That's good to hear. So it's not coming from the States. It would be okay as well, but it's better to have it in reach, and it doesn't take that long.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much, Riley, for your time. It's amazing
talking to you. Thank you for having me. Yeah, and if
looking forward to see.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I didn't hear you.
No, go ahead. Please share your contact details. That's
I think our intercontinental Wi-Fi is, giving us some problems there. I was just going to say, if anyone ever has any, obviously you have my email, so I don't know if you have my phone number, but feel free to use either of those things. So if anyone ever has any questions that come up to you about Form, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer those at any time. And yeah, we're really grateful to get to work with Team Zoot Europe. So thank you for partnering with us.
Yeah, great. I'm looking forward to the first year partnership with Form, and we'll share your contact details with the members so that anybody who has questions could just reach out to you. But yeah, like I said, thank you so much for your time. Have a great day, and we keep in touch for sure.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Riley, bye.
Bye.